Okay, so let's remain on the topic of dictionaries and let's try to get a value and or get a key from a dictionary. So let's see what's going on here. So if we simply print dict1, right, the way it is, then we will get the dictionary in its format, showing what the keys are, what the element content is, right? So fairly simple and delineated with the colon, right? To separate the key from the item, key item, key item. Now, what if we assign, let's say, item or you could say something like this, first name as a variable equals dict1, and then we're specific here as to what it is, name or first, right? So let's see what happens if you try to print first name. Print first name. So we're using the key to pull out Henry inside this variable. Let's see what happens. Okay, good. So now, can we do this in a different way? And the answer, yes. So we could do it, so this is one version. So let me just put a pound sign in front of it, hashtag, so we'll comment it out. There's another way to do this. So first name, and then we're going to make it equal to dict1 dot, and we're going to use the get method, and then make sure you tell it, okay, about what is it you're getting on, what key you're using to get first name. So as you can see here, you have two ways to obtain the same result. Let's see what happens. And there you have it. You get Henry again. Okay? So these two here will do exactly the same thing. Okay. Now, what if we wanted to get the keys, right? So remember, now we can get, using the key, we can get the elements. So let's go ahead and clean this up. And let's call it keys equal dict1 dot, and we're going to say keys, the method keys. And let's go ahead and print keys and see what happens here. And notice here, unlike printing dict1 directly, we're only interested in what we assigned as identifiers for each key. First, last, and H are the specific keys. Okay, so what else can we do? We can, let's see here, do values instead of keys. Let's see what happens. So let's say, let's call this one items, and instead of keys, dot values. Okay, and we're going to put items here. Let's see what happens when we do something like this. And notice with this, we only get the items instead of the keys. Okay, good. Now, let's suppose we want to change the age from 78 to 79. So we want to be able to update that particular item, 78, with the based on the age key. So how can we do that specifically? So let's call this one the variable age. I mean, you can name it whatever you want. Let me just remove the print method here, or function. Remember, age here is a variable, so it's not the same thing as a string constant that you have here, right? Or literal. So, but you could rename, you can have a variable type age. You could call it the age if you want, just to make sure that you're not confusing these two visually speaking. All right, so the age will be equal to, we could say, whatever comes back from that one. So what would that be? That would be dict1 age, and then we can print it. And let's go ahead and print the age. So that one in particular pulls out the actual age, 78, right? Good. Now what we would like to do is modify age. So we can do that ahead of time. And we could say that dict1, based on the key age, and we're going to assign it a new value. And let's give it 79. And let's see if that had an effect. Okay, so let's run it. And sure enough, it had an effect. Okay, so here we're going specifically in this location, modifying it. And then here we're going to this location, assigning it to a variable and printing it here.